Hey guys, so the Crew 2 has been on Stadia and Geforce Now for a little while now, and I thought I'd give it a go, as I liked the Need for Speed games previously. So I thought I'd do a nice side-by-side comparison. This one quite surprised me. One, the Crew 2 is an absolute fantastic game, and two, the difference between Geforce Now and Stadia was just so close, it was really hard to call. So on the left here, you'll see that the sky is a little bit more detailed, but the ground is not. On the right hand side you'll see that the ground is much more defined, and so is some of the stuff in the distance. Now the Crew 2, you can have air, boats and street racing, as well as some drift racing. I've only done the planes, street racing and boats, but I thought I'd just show a bit of each here. Moving on to the boats. You can see here it really is a close call. So on the left, you see a slightly more reflection in the water, but the detail in the sky is so much better on the right hand side here. But it kind of switches between in the different lights. It's really hard to tell which is which. Bearing in mind, the one on Geforce Now is running on ultra settings at 60 frames per second. Whereas the one on Stadia is only running on the medium settings. I haven't managed to get a 4K connection recently. I think this has got something to do with the load on the internet for everywhere, as well as some possible internet restrictions on the US side. But as you can see there, switching between the light and dark, there really isn't much between it, and I'd expect Geforce Now to be quite a lot better on the ultra settings. So finally onto one of the street races. I think this is where you probably figured out which one is which. So on the left here is actually the Geforce Now on ultra settings, with the right one on Stadia. You can see that there's a little bit more detail on the buildings and trees as you're going past. But unless you've got these side by side, it's really hard to tell any difference between them, and both play absolutely fantastic. So whatever platform you decide to choose to play on, I do recommend the Crew 2. It is an absolute blast. I've been having a lot more fun in the boat and air races than street racing. Street racing is probably the hardest element, but there is so much to it, it will keep you entertained for ages. Let me know what you think in the comments. What would you play in the Crew 2? And if you're on there, add me.